Welcome to Reality with Kiki. I'm your host, Kiki, and on this channel, we discuss reality TV, celebrity gossip, and viral topics. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like our content. You can also follow us on our Facebook page. A link will be in the description box below, and we also have it linked in our bio. All right, so Life After Lockup, my guilty pleasure. I love this show. So we start off this episode. We're still at the polygraph test place with Shane and Lacey. Shane is blown up because he's embarrassed. Now he wants a polygraph on Lacey. I want to know. I want to know if she's hiding anything. Now you want to know, but you ain't never bring this up before. You only want to know because you want her to feel as embarrassed as you do right now. If you gay for pay, it's okay. That's how you got your money. Nobody is judging you, but you scared of people knowing that fact about you. You scared of people judging you and your sexuality. To be honest, babe, we don't care. So now he's concerned about whether they brought lies into their marriage. Well, you were being dishonest and you were lying, and it was no problem then, but now that you're found out, you want to know about the foundation of your marriage. Shane, please. He's walking away. He storms out the office. He's walking away. Lacey's asking him, "What do you want to know? What do you want to know? You say you want a polygraph on me. What do you want to know? Ask me a question." He says to her, "Are you stupid? Does the elevator not go all the way up?" I said, "Ooh, not him calling you dumb in the earhead. Lacey, you better get him." So then Shane starts spilling. He's like, "I've only done it because Lacey has made me stay home." He says she needed me to stay home with the baby. So the producers are asking him, like, "Why are you so upset? Like, if this is what you did, why are you so upset?" He doesn't want people to know that he's been making money on OnlyFans. That's how he's been making his money. That Lacey's been doing it her whole life. She's been doing webcams and OnlyFans. She's the one who set up his OnlyFans account for him. But it's still not clear as to why you're upset. So obviously, Lacey doesn't have a problem with you doing OnlyFans. Even if you were doing it to perform for other men, why would she be upset if you had that conversation with her? But you hid that piece from her, and now you're mad that it's been exposed. It's just really not clear as to why you're upset. Okay, so then it gets more interesting because Lacey is like, if they go to marriage counseling, if Shane agrees to marriage counseling and the counselor suggests that she or he thinks it's a good idea for her to get a polygraph, she'll do it. So she's like, I have been keeping in contact with John, her ex, and she gives her reasons why. And she's like, if Sean asked me if I was talking to him, I would tell him, but he hasn't asked me. Now, Lacey, you are low down because you know he will want to know something like that. And if you are so big and bold, just tell him. And so then the cameras are following John, and he's like, yeah, she's not answering the phone. She must have blocked my number so that whoever she's with doesn't know that she's seeing me. So I'm like, seeing you? She been going crazy about Shane cheating and stuff like that, and y'all dealing with each other like that? Child, this is gonna get crazy. All right, so we get to Brittany and Ray. And Brittany, I be trying to go to bat for her. I be trying to defend this girl, But she makes it so hard. So Ray's cooking breakfast or whatever. She's like, "Oh, you sure you can cook?" He's like, "Yeah, I can cook, whatever." So she's like, "Oh, I'm just so happy we get to spend all day together. So I guess he don't got to work today." And he's like, "I'm gonna go see my cousin. I haven't seen him since I've been out." She's like, "Oh, well, who's this cousin and what's his name? And like, why can't you do that a different time or whatever?" And she's like, "Well, that makes me resent you or whatever because the way I move, everything is about us, and you are just trying to do things for yourself." And he's just like, "You acting like I said I'm not coming home tonight. Like I'm just gonna go visit my friend. I've been here. I've been staying here. I was on house arrest here. Like I've been here the whole time. Like what's the big deal?" And in his confessional, he was just saying how you know, thinking about everything that's going on with her, like possibly not being able to have a baby between work and paying back that restitution, like he a little stressed out. He needs some space. And it's like, damn, Brittany, like stop being so clingy. Like you act like you ain't never have a boyfriend before. Relax. He not going nowhere. And if he was, it ain't nothing you could do about it. But there's plenty of other men that are out here. If you want us to go find you another felon, baby, they are out here. And she's like talking about how this is going to cause her to resent him, but like you are going to cause some resentment as well because you've been holding secrets, like this thing about the baby thing. That is something that you held back. You trying to be with him every second of the day. You trying to be in his skin. Like, girl, relax. So she's like going on and on. Why can I go? Why can't I meet him? Why can I tag along? Do he got somebody that he wants you to meet? Like, what's the problem? What's the big deal? Ray just like, it's supposed to be me and him. And he could be trying to do something shady because in the beginning, when she was asking him questions, he is slow to answer. But if he was to tell you he needs some time away from you, girl, you would break down and cry. So just relax before you hear before he tell you something you don't want to hear. So Brittany is like, I don't know. It just seems shady. Who is this cousin? Because Ray tells me everything I never heard about this cousin. She keeps badgering him because he goes to get dressed. She like, oh, you dressed up. He like, I just putting some clothes on. I'm like, Ray, you better run out of that house before this girl takes some handcuffs and lock you to the counter and you can't go nowhere. All right, so John and Christiana. So they are preparing for their wedding day, and Christiana is going into the room, and she see her mother in the corner crying, and she's like, "Why are you crying?" And she's just like, "Oh, just because, like, you're back out, in the world from prison, and you're gonna have to do things on your own." I don't know. Maybe she's worried about her returning to her former life, but Christiana's like, "This is a happy time. Like, everything is gonna be okay." So John is in the room with his daughters as they prepare for the wedding. And his older daughter was just like giving it to him. She's like, what if Christiana relapses again? She's done it before. And she's like, her younger sister, she's like, I really don't want her getting attached to another woman if she's not really going to have it together because, it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. I'm like, maybe he has hope that Christiana won't return to that former life. That's why, they're going through all of this process. But I'm just like, it's just a wedding. They already married. So why is she, going off now? So Christiana's mother, while she's still consoling her, she's saying how she feels like she hasn't really got her fully back. And now she's turning her over to John for her hand in marriage. And she's her everything. And Christiana's like, oh, mom, I love you. It's okay. You still got me. John's daughter is, she starts spilling. She's like, I feel like my father makes bad decisions when it comes to relationships and things happen so quickly. Like, we don't even know he's in a relationship basically until he's married. Like, everything happens so fast. And he's just like, I haven't always been lucky in love. Yeah, but based on what your daughter is saying, if you do make decisions like that, I don't really know what you expecting. Things are more than likely going to go downhill if you are making quick, impulsive decisions. This man says he's been married 4 times and had 2 engagements. Like, Huh? How do you fall in love that many times? All right, so we get to Lisa and Stan. Lisa, she really bothers my soul because for one, she's all over the place. So Stan comes back with some little janky flowers or whatever to give to Lisa. She's like, I made a catfish profile to catfish him to see if he's talking to other women. So he comes in the house and he's like, hey, you know, I'm just like, he was like essentially apologizing about, things he said or done or whatever. He wants to start over. And she's like, oh, I want to start with a clean slate as well. If I'm going to be a Christian, I need to be forgiving and blah, 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 blah. So she's like, okay, is there anything else that you want to tell me? Because she wants him to admit that he's been talking to that catfish profile online. And he's like, no, I think that was it. And she's like, okay, whatever. And she was like, oh, he just lied to my face after he walked off. Are you really doing this? Because when he gave you the flowers, you asked him if it was a ring in there. Why do you want to marry this man? Unless you're just trying to get that money, that insurance policy for when he died. Because it seems like you don't really care to be around this man. But you concerned with him being with you and only you. So Nicole sets up a sit down between her, Deontay, and Tia. So her and Tia are there at the restaurant first. Tia asks Nicole if she has any feelings for Deontay. This girl says, well, I know the feelings I have for you are real. That's not what she asked you. And Tia is basically like, her thought process is, you are only trying to involve this man because you're trying to get money from him. Because we know Deontay is a pay pig. He'll give her money, even if he doesn't get what he wants in return. So she's like, she'll do this for, this is supposed to be temporary. And once she stacks her money, she gonna leave her alone and end it, or she stays with him and I'm going to end it. And I said, what? But both Tia and Deontay are like, I'm trying to do whatever it is that Nicole wants to make her happy because they both want to be with her. So I'm like, there's no other way to do this. Like, I would never agree to something like this because Tia wants Nicole to herself and Deontay wants Nicole to himself as well. Deontay don't really like Tia. Tia don't like Deontay. Like, how is this all supposed to work? You're not going to be able to split your time and finesse because, for one, you really don't really know how to. So, delusional Deontay is like, oh, Nicole stole my girl from me. Nicole went willingly. That's where she wanted to be. One. Two, he's like, he believes it's coming full circle and that Nicole realizes that she made a mistake. No, the only mistake Nicole realizes is that she cut you off too early. She should have kept stringing you along because she's broke and she needs something to sustain herself. And getting money for her probably has never been any easier. She knows that she could say whatever to Deontay to make him feel bad and he gonna throw her something. She not stupid now. He got the nerve to say, I don't know how it's gonna be being intimately with the both of them. When did Tia ever agree to that? When did Nicole tell you that y'all were gonna be having threesomes? Are you crazy? I don't think Tia would even let him sniff her, okay? And this fool is really considering it. He's like, yeah, being intimate with Nicole, hell yeah, but with Tia, I don't really know about that. I mean, she might look good with her clothes off. Like, you that thirsty and desperate? Like, come on now. But he believes that he'll be able to convince Nicole or sway her over just being with him, and Tia will go away. Okay, sir. So Deontay shows up. Nicole and Tia are already eating, and things are kind of awkward from the beginning. During the sit down, Deontay was like something about a threesome, and just as I thought, Tia was like, "That would never happen, not in this lifetime." I screamed. I'm like, "What is going through your head, Deontay, that you think that this girl will be willing to do anything with you?" Even the way Nicole explained the relationship, it didn't make sense because she was saying, "Oh, a three-way relationship. Do you want to do that?" She didn't say that you would also be involved with Tia. Why do you think that you would have two girlfriends, let alone be deserving of that? And just as I also thought, Nicole admits in her confessional when she said a three-way relationship, in her mind, it was, I'm going to hang out with you and you're going to give me money. And then that's just going to be that on that. But I don't know how much longer she thinks she's going to be able to carry on with Deontay not trying to come on to her and be intimate with her. For one, you Deontay ain't no 80-year-old man with a whole bunch of money. You trying to make a sugar daddy out of somebody who barely got it themselves. He barely holding it together himself. Now he might have been giving you racks. That was probably money he had saved up, but Deontay ain't loaded. So I don't even know why she would think that would work out. So Deontay is embarrassed, and now he starts trying to go off on Tia. He's saying to Nicole, "Oh, you see, I'm trying to be nice to her," and she's like, "I'm trying to be nice too." She keep throwing jabs at me. What jabs is she throwing? She said she would never have sex with you, which was the truth. You are delusional, and you think things are going to happen that are not actually going to happen. So what jabs? And then Tia got so upset, and she said "F you" to Deontay, and he said "F you, B." I know goons just like you know goons. Like, what are you talking about? What goons? What goons, Deontay? So we are back at Lisa and Stan, and Lisa is planning to go out with a woman. She won't really give Stan much detail as to who this person is, what they're gonna do, and she's like, "I'm pretty pissed at Stan because he's talking to women online." And I'm like, y'all can't even figure out a commitment. Why do you care? And the site that you met him on, anybody knows if you use that site to find men, they are gonna be constantly talking to other women. So I don't even know why she's confused. So she's making an excuse that because Stan is doing his thing, she gonna do her thing. And this friend Renata that she knew since prison, I guess this was somebody she was dealing with before, and now she's gonna go out with her, and she don't know if she gonna come home or not. And it's just like, stop trying to use what Stan is doing as an excuse. And I'm not defending Stan, but you are lying and making excuses and trying to point the finger. And this is something that I've been like saying. I'm like, she's trying to point out everything that he's doing to try to hide what she's doing. You've been talking to her and whoever else. And looking at Lisa just be pissing me off because that weave is like micro braids. Like, it looks like micro braids, and it looks a mess. It's ratty. It looks like old doll hair. Like, you begging for money for outfits and food, you need to be going to get your hair redone. So after being short with Stan, she's like, "You gonna give me some money?" And he's like looking at her. She's like, "Well, is that a problem?" And he's like, "I don't even know if I have cash." This She blows up and like bangs the table like, "Oh my god!" And I'm like, "Child, it couldn't be me. It could not be me." But Stan be trying to do whatever to be in her good graces, and I don't understand why. And Lisa don't have no emotion or connection to Stan. Like, she really gives me the vibes that she will kill him for his money. Like, y- the type of story you would see on the ID channel. Like, that is all she gives me. So Christiana is still upset because she's heard no word of Tara. She's like, she's supposed to be doing this with her sister. She calls her again. It goes straight to voicemail. She's like, she's getting pissed off. Her mother is like, she's getting pissed off. And the situation is not funny, but the way they be like screaming at her on voicemail is hilarious. Like, why do you think that that's going to make her call you back? But I'm just like confused as to why Tara is just so bent on having her sister a part of the ceremony. Like, if she is out there back in them streets, why would you even want to see her like that or come to an event like this? It's just not going to be helpful for anybody. And another thing I'm trying to figure out is why Christiana has on this bright orange bra underneath her wedding dress that is like a mesh material and it's like poking through. Like, girl, what are you doing? Do you understand that there are different resources now in this day and age that would help to hold up your breast and also hide whatever it is under your dress? So now we get back to Brittany, who is sitting in the house, pissed off because she is blowing up Ray's phone, texting him like crazy, and he's not responding. And honestly, I wouldn't respond either. I probably would have had you on do not disturb so that you could not reach me. But Brittany, I know you paying that phone bill. Just cut the phone off. I bet you he'll call you. So she invites a friend over and she's just like, he has not been answering. And she's like, she doesn't think it's fair that now he's out and he getting on his feet, that he's not communicating with her because when he was in prison, every time he called, she answered the phone and da da da, try to make him feel secure. And it's just like, girl, you made a choice. Nobody forced you to do that. Nobody had a gun to your head. But also, it's just like, this is not your son. He doesn't have to check in with you. You are not parole. He doesn't have to check in with you. And then when somebody is in prison and then you get out and somebody trying to watch your every move, it feels like you're in prison still. She needs to relax. And it's making me mad because, girl, I had your back. But now you acting crazy. Where everybody on these internet streets was saying that you crazy and they don't like you and all of this stuff. I'm like, nah, don't do that to Brittany. Don't do that to her. Give her some grace. And now look at you, acting an ass. So Brittany proceeds to say that she has his location and it is actually down the street. And then here go her friend instigating the situation, feeding into the BS. She like, ooh, you gonna have to go see. He might have some. He might have some girls over there, and you need to pull up. But then she tells her, oh, but when you pull up though, you can't act ratchet. You can't embarrass yourself. And she's like, well, embarrassing himself right now, not answering the phone. It's just like, girl, why would you feed into that? Why would you be trying to get her to pull up on him? If you were gonna try to convince her of anything, it should have been not to be talking to inmates, not trying to deal with men in prison. And then the friend at the same time trying to walk her off the ledge is like, oh well, his phone is probably in his pocket. And Brittany's like, well, at one of them parties, if they got strippers or something, they probably took his phone. And if they took his phone, then I'm going in there to beat some ass. Like, girl, you gonna get knocked over the head. Like, who are you beating? All right, so we we end this episode back with Nicole, Deontay, and Tia. So Nicole starts crying her manipulation tears to make Deontay calm down and come sit back down. He sits back down, and she is mostly taking up for Tia, which is correct because Deontay started getting mad and going off because, for one, like I said, I think he was embarrassed because you're suggesting that you're gonna have a threesome with both of them when Tia is not even into men. And you're mad at her response by saying, I don't even deal with men. So why would that even cross your mind? It'd never happen. And he said, F you. And she said, F you back. And they started getting loud. And so Deontay's like, I'm not going to be here and deal with this. Nicole is crying. Oh, you don't care about me. Blah, blah, blah. She goes to try to get more alcohol. Deontay and Tia just sitting there. Tia just looks uncomfortable since the moment Deontay came and sat down. And so he's like, well, what we gonna do, man? And Tia's like, well, you took it the wrong way. I just told you that I don't sleep with men. I don't have sex with men. And you blew up. And what she did, it was ridiculous. Like, why are you offended by her saying she will never let you touch her? So then he tries to flip the script like, oh no, you took it the wrong way because I wasn't saying a threesome as in sex. I was saying a threesome as in us being together and being friends. And we know from the cameras that you're lying about that because you were sitting up in your car talking about, I don't know about, being intimate with both of them when that was never a part of the discussion. And she set you straight. There is not a chance in hell you will be able to touch me. And that pissed you off. Why? Oh, he got up angry. Oh, you ain't gonna be talking to me like that. I got goons. I'm a Marine, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know who will win a fight between them. Because I kind of feel like Deontay might be strong, but we could be underestimating Tia. Or he could just take her down because he is a man. But I don't know. So then when Nicole comes back and sit down, Deontay is like, oh, I apologize for the way that I was talking to you. And Tia says, I don't accept your apology because I don't let nobody disrespect me. Deontay says, some people might think I'm crazy, but when you in love, you do things. No, that's just you, and you are crazy, and you're delusional. So after she said she didn't accept his apology, he got upset and it walked away and said, "This is crazy, is it?" Because it seems like you keep going along with it. You could just walk away and cut her off and go find you another woman who is actually interested in you or find you another inmate. But no, you want to keep dealing with this situation, being up in this craziness, and then get mad when shit go left. So he talking to himself as he walking away. He's like, "Let me get up and go away before I do something that I regret." Blah blah blah. And I just don't understand why he's trying to puff up his chest against Tia. Like she might have a short haircut and she might dress like a boy, but why are you trying to like get physical with her? That's why I feel like it feels a little bit like you're trying to um be combative with her. It's like you're trying to duel with her over Nicole, trashy self, of all people. But it's like, why are you trying to do that to her? She ain't do nothing to you. She ain't manipulate you. She ain't say nothing crazy to you. But you said something crazy to her. But you don't have this energy for Nicole, who's clearly just trying to use you for money. But you don't see it because you think she oh so beautiful. Child. All right, so we ended the episode. I don't know. Tia had me crying because Deontay's pissed off, walking off, going crazy. Nicole's crying. Nicole's like, "Where is he?" And Tia's like, "Who gives a F? I give zero Fs. I don't care about him." And she's just crying. And Tia's sitting there with a straight face. And then in the confessional, Nicole is still crying with Tia next to her. And Tia's just like, "This is dumb. This is childish." Because, like, what are you crying for? What are you crying for? And she's just like, this is Nicole talking about Tia. "I just love her so much, and then when we fight, she says she's gonna leave me. All of this stuff." Child, girl, you got issues. Nicole need to go to therapy. And I'm like, what are you crying about? Are you crying because the little bit of money that you would get is walking away, or what? But anyway, y'all let me know down in the comments what y'all thought about this episode. I want to know who you think would win a fight if Deontay and Tia were to fight. Please like and subscribe if you like this content, and follow our Facebook page, which will be linked down below, and we will further the discussion. Talk to you soon.